As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Hey, everybody, good morning and welcome to episode 48 of Zero to Hero. We are wrapping up Becoming the Best You week here on the Zero to Hero show. Just another reminder, the event starts tomorrow. It's in St. Louis. Virtual tickets are still available for $45. We have another one of the great speakers from Becoming the Best You coming on the show today. His name is Bill Kimble. He's also the executive director at the Affordable Housing Coalition. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Bill, how you doing today?
Good morning. I
How's it
appreciate
going?
you inviting me to your show.
Oh, my pleasure, man. I'm happy to have you on. So, before we get into the show and before we get to talking about becoming the best you, for people out there that may not know what the Affordable Housing Coalition is, go ahead and talk a little bit about what you guys do there.
Well, the Affordable Housing Coalition and Neighborhoods United is the primary. Those are nonprofits. We specialize in providing housing for persons with disabilities, and we also specialize in providing affordable housing across the spectrum here in metropolitan Kansas City, Missouri.
I love that, and that's such a big issue, right? I mean, so I lived, as an example, I lived in LA for a long time, and as we know, homelessness out there is a huge problem, kind of all along that West Coast. We don't see that as much here in the Midwest, and that's really because of organizations like yours, right?
Correct.
That's awesome. So I appreciate you doing the work that you're doing there. Now, Bill, to get into it, not about the Affordable Housing Coalition and not necessarily about becoming the best you, although that tends to leach into quite a bit of our lives, kind of regardless of what we're doing. But in a couple of sentences, give us an elevator pitch about you. Who is Bill Kimble?
Well, I am a guy that started in construction and real estate. I started in construction. I evolved into real estate. Now I'm evolving into development. So when you say, who am I? I'm a guy who loves to learn and loves who gives back to my community. And I do that by construction and real estate and now development.
And I love one of the taglines that I've seen you use on your socials before is building up communities.
Correct.
Right. So how did you kind of get into the construction world? Why did building communities become such a passion for you?
It became well, my father was an architect and general contractor. My grandfather was in real estate and construction. So I was born into this, sort of say. It's nothing else that I would rather do more than this. So as a young kid, on the weekends or holidays, or the summer break, I was working with my father. I already knew what I was going to go do. It was already kind of predestined because my father spoke that into existence to me as a kid. Somebody asked me the question yesterday. They said, "How did you know you want to be a real estate developer?" I said, "Because my father told me so." My father planted those seeds in my head. And so it was a natural outgrowth from there.
I got you. Now, a lot of going into the next question here, a lot of the stuff, obviously you're very active on social media, right? Why is that important as, being a developer, being somebody that's with the Housing Coalition, and what has the experience been like for you? What's the journey been like?
Well, usually construction is mainly, especially if you local, usually it's like word of mouth. Nothing big. No big push unless who goes national, especially if you just residential. That's really local. But in order to inflict change, in order to be able to control the dynamics of my community, I have to be able to change neighborhoods. So what I did is I said, I have to evolve. I have to grow. I have to take it to the next level. And that's why I grew out of residential rehab. You grow from residential rehab to commercial, then you kind of grow to real estate. And so what I did is I said, let me educate myself. So I went back to school, my master's in real estate. Let me go back to school, educate myself on the book smarts, but keep continuously being in the field so I can perfect my trade there. So now I do more than just rehab houses. I rehab lives. I do more than just rebuild a duplex or rebuild structures. I rebuild neighborhoods. And I do that even if I had to go like block by block. But I'll take a 4-block radius, 4-block by 4-block radius, and I'll target that neighborhood. And what that means is I'll buy every house in that neighborhood. I'll try to buy every house, a tax delinquent, out of town landlord, anybody just have it for sale. And see, then when I can do that, when somebody drives in that immediate neighborhood, it's like a wow factor. Like, wow, this really looks nice.
Oh, I think we lost you there. And I love what he was saying there. I mean, that's such a good strategy for residential developers, right? Because that 4-block by 4-block area, when it comes to values, and you're buying up all those houses and rehabbing those, fixing those back up, obviously it makes the whole area worth more. So that's so powerful. See if we can get Bill back in here. It's the beauty of the live shows, guys. We got to deal with connection issues and everything else that goes on. All right, we'll give Bill a couple more minutes here. Just a reminder, while we are waiting on Bill, again, if you haven't checked it out, at least go to the website, check out comechangeyourlife.com, becoming the best you. Look at those tickets. You can get quite a bit of self-help, quite a bit of self-improvement right from the couch this weekend. I believe there's 35 speakers is what they're going to have coming out this weekend. Again, tickets are only $45. So instead of sitting around, no sports on this weekend, right? Other than the Daytona 500, nothing really to do. Go ahead and head over to comechangeyourlife.com, get that ticket. Come improve yourself a little bit this weekend. Might have lost Bill altogether. Oh, might have got him back here. I don't know if you can hear me, Bill, but go ahead and connect your mic and your camera to let me add you back in here, buddy. We got you back?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Good deal. Good deal. So you're just telling us a little bit. Oh, you're good. No, that's what happens in live shows, man. We've had that happen a few times before. I appreciate you making it back in. So you were telling us a little bit about your social media journey, and I was talking a little bit about when you cut out there. That's such a good idea, as far as your plan of buying the 4x4 blocks, right? Because that increases the property values all over. But relate that back to the social media. How's that helped you out with that?
Without social media, you tend to be somebody in my position. You tend to be almost like the king of the nobodies. Nobody knows your story. Without nobody knowing your story, you can't inspire change. So even in construction, and really more so construction than anything, it's kind of word of mouth. It's kind of local. It's kind of low key. But in order to inflict change, I realized that I had to go to the next level, and I had to be able to get my message out. So that's why I had to kind of bring in people to kind of help shape me and grow me, and to help me be able to get a message that can go regional and national. Because in
That's
my
so
field of
powerful.
work, like I was saying in the beginning, it really doesn't get a chance to get filtered out. But now we're changing our message.
That's so powerful. And it's almost like social media in today's age is kind of like that newer word of mouth, right? Obviously, people are still talking to each other, and word of mouth is never going to completely go away, but we can kind of elevate that message, right, through
Correct.
social media.
In order to go to the next level, just like if me doing residential rehab, I could dominate that field, but nobody knows it. So by the time I get ready to go to the next field, um, nobody even knows who you are. It's almost like a college player playing football. They got a lot of tapes. A lot of the scouts look at a lot of their tapes and stuff. They see their highlights. Then they say, okay, he's good. He's a good linebacker in college. He's an excellent linebacker in college. We think he can make the transition to the NFL. But it's kind of just like that on what we're doing here. It's important to map your successes and be able to give people hope by posting your successes.
Absolutely, yeah. It builds trust. It puts it all on tape, right? You got that
Yeah.
proven success, track record of success. That's such a good point, man. Now, Bill, every superhero has a defining moment, right? What do you think yours is when it comes to life and career?
What got me to change, or you say what keeps motivating me now?
Yeah, what's the defining moment, right? So that could mean whatever it means to you, right? Where's that moment where it all kind of clicked for you?
Okay, it all clicked for me years ago. I was reading a book. I was in prison at the time. I was reading a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
And that book inspired me. But right while I was thinking about that book, I went to the chapel. And in prison, in the chapels, in the feds, you have booths, and you can watch. Just you can watch a tape. I watched the tape by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and something he said during that tape, and of course, while I'm reading the book, that's spurring the book is spurring the business side of me, but my moral side, something Farrakhan said in there that just inspired me. He said, look at yourself. Look what you're doing. You're tearing down your community. Do something about it. Improve yourself. Do something. And I took that to heart that day. And so by getting out of prison, I completely changed my life. So now what motivates me is, and I know this might sound crazy, it motivates me to drive up and down the streets in desolate neighborhoods and abandoned blocks and looking at abandoned houses. Because when other people see trash, I see potential. Where other people see a desolate neighborhood, I see a neighborhood that can possibly be on the rise. We just completed a project with the city, with a department of the city. And when I tell you this was probably the worst neighborhood and worst project I ever done, but guess what? It sparked development. Every house that's adjacent to our properties have been bought or rehabbed, or even ones that was too old to get torn down. Got torn down. The whole neighborhood looks better now. By us taking the worst houses on the neighborhood and making them best houses, it spurred everybody else. We act as a catalyst for urban redevelopment. And I want to take that farther. I don't want to just do this in Kansas City. I don't want to be known as the urban core developer or just the black developer in the developer in the black neighborhoods. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to preach home ownership, community revitalization, community pride, and I'm going across the spectrum. I don't care if it's Latino community, the white community, the black community, wherever it's the issue and there's a problem, we can go there. Anywhere in the country where there's a ghetto, my plan can work. We just need it to be where people don't see hope. We need to be able to give them hope.
That is so beautiful, and you can see that in Kansas City, right? I'm a native to Kansas City. I grew up off 41st in Virginia, right? So
Okay.
one of those neighborhoods, right? I get it, and the transformation in Kansas City really just even in the last 5 to 10 years, let alone since the 80s, right, has been. It's obvious,
It is.
So I appreciate the work that you're doing there. It has made a drastic improvement in the city that I love. So I definitely appreciate it, man. And that's so powerful. Obviously, you're kind of at rock bottom there, right? And you hear this message from the Reverend that, damn, I got to stop doing what I was doing and I got to go this way now.
Correct.
That's so beautiful, man.
Yeah. And I was successful on the streets. A lot of people not successful. I was successful. So to be able to take that mentality and push it over here was a totally different ballgame. But it has to change. The perception has to change for your mentality to change. I have a sister-in-law that moved out of the city, and I asked her, I said, why do you want to move? She said, because the house was fine, the neighborhood was fine, everything. She said, I'm tired of living next door. I'm tired of living in a neighborhood that people just put their old mattresses out, whenever they get ready. The perception of the urban core has to change. I believe that I can help that process. Now, I can't do it single-handedly alone, but I can be the catalyst that sparks the fire that can get a neighborhood to think within themselves of how they can become self-sufficient. I can teach you how to be self-sufficient. I could teach that guy or female that's just getting out of prison. If you take responsibility for your crime and your actions and what you did, I can teach you how to take that responsibility and propel it to be a motivating factor where you can change your life and be able to inflict change on other people.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful, Bill. Now, obviously, you've been through kind of both sides, right? The villain, it sounds like, and the hero. What attributes to you define a hero?
I believe a hero is somebody who can inflict change in a positive way and don't need the grandstand to do it. A lot of times we look back at the Superman movies. Superman earthquake is coming. Superman swoop in, get the person, put them on safe ground, and then he just flies away. But people's waving, thank you, Superman. But Superman's already gone. He's going to the next thing. See, that's what I kind of want to do. I want to go ahead and help a community and help a neighborhood. Then I want to go to the next one. Then I want to go to Buffalo and do one. I want to go to Dallas and do one. I want to go to Little Rock, Arkansas. Wherever there's a hood, wherever there's drugs and crime and wherever there's a desolate neighborhood, I want people to be able to call us. And I want to be able to work with the local municipality, the local county, put a team together, boots on the ground, and put millions of dollars into these little neighborhoods, and we could turn it around.
Yeah, and obviously you've already got a good track record going here, so I think you're definitely well on your way with that, Mr. Bill, for sure. Now, to get to our last question, if you had to pick a superhero that did, relate best to you, and I think you might have alluded to it there already a little bit, who would it be, and tell us why in a couple sentences?
I do believe it probably would be Superman, and that's because I think my father enjoyed Superman so much. Now he's deceased now, and he doesn't have he didn't know about the recent superhero roles that we have now, because I kind of like Thor a little bit too. But just for the simple fact that Superman, if nothing else, just like his vision, where he could be able to see through walls. Well, I can apply that to my life because I can look at somebody and see through their exterior and see into the interior, the gift of discernment. So Superman can look and see what's on the other side of the wall, but I can look at you and see what's on the other side of you. So if you a good person, if you good enough to work with, to put on the team so we can make change. And Superman had the power to change. To have the power to be able to influence change is a big difference. So I guess the answer would be Superman, mainly because he could look and see through something. And I think in my life, I would like to be able to look at people and tell and not see just the outside. It ain't about your weight or your color or your height. It's not about that. It's about what you got on the inside, how much spirit and drive you got on the inside.
That's so good. Yeah, that power to see people for who they really are, right? That little bit of a different kind of X-ray vision. I love that. Bill, how can people keep up with you, man? How can they connect with you? How can they get involved with what you're doing?
Okay, I am located in Kansas City, Missouri, in the historic 18th and Vine district. Been here 20 years, right smack dab on the corner of 18th and Vine. I just got a new website, neighborhoodsu.org. neighborhoodsu.org. And that one will be able to take you to any other place that you wanted to go. Even if somebody looked at billkimble.com, billkimble.com or neighborhoodsu.org is really the best ways to get in touch with us. And anybody that's sitting, my telephone number is area code 816-605-1138. 816-605-1138. And anybody that calls or texts, Hey, I'm more than happy to talk with people. I'm doing a mentorship program in a minute, and I'm gonna take a cohort of 10 people, and we're gonna move them through the how to revitalize a house from start to finish. And then in this cohort, it's not just me selling somebody a house and letting them go. 80 to 90% of the people that jump into real estate on that level fail. But you won't fail here because we're going to move as a cohort. And I'll teach you about planning and zoning, permitting, inspections, city inspections, property management. I'll be able to teach people in a cohort that'll take about 10 months to a year. But it's about teaching the new people coming up what we're trying to do. Because I need people to be in my shoes on my level so I can go to the next level as well.
I love it. So yeah, if you're interested, man, Bill put out his phone number. You know he's serious when they put out their phone number, right? So give him a call, get out there. And then obviously they can find you this Saturday in St. Louis, right?
I will be in St. Louis. Yep,
Let's
my
go.
first speaking engagement. I will be in St. Louis.
Wonderful. It's I can tell you're going to be awesome to see out there. So head over to comechangeyourlife.com, get those tickets so you can check out Bill this weekend. Bill, my man, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. Y'all have a good day out there.